All right. Call the meeting to order.
That was Saturday. Yep.
Agenda review and disposition.
You can add negotiations to non-public.
All right. We don't have a privilege of the floor, do we? I don't think so. Okay, and approval of the minutes, September 1. Any changes to the minutes that anyone saw? No? Okay, a motion to approve the minutes from September 1st.
So
Bill, seconded by Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining for any reason? Okay. And we don't have a student yet.
We're going to get one though. They are working diligently to come out with a student rep. All the elections were held, so all our class positions were filled. Great, they did it all through virtual too, and voted by environment. But you will have a student rep for the near future.
Oh, you've got some folks.
Leo won. Is he vice president, Marty? Leo?
What?
Leo was our freshman vice president.
Yeah. He ran unopposed.
Unopposed.
Didn't have to make a speech.
Principal's report.
Yes, Madam Chair, let me pass out, if I may. I think you'll find it interesting. Put my name, no, you're good. These are weird, this, I look like I'm rubbing a thing. All right, hey guys. Glad at home.
I was thinking maybe rustling some cattle.
Oh, come on. I would ask the board to take a look at the back page. And I'd like to give credit to our advisors. We're going to get extremely creative. And we are going to do homecoming. Thank you. And it's going to be all virtual. And there is a very eager group of students that are doing the pep rally. Virtually, yes ma'am. There's a long list of roles that have to be performed, but I think they can pull it off. I guess it's still announced all the winners, but the kids are all going to go into advisory, and they'll watch the video from there. The kids still compete, they do their own video. There's a new competition this year from the Rotary Club. Since the Rotary cannot do as many sales, they're doing a challenge show. So I had our kids jump in, and we're going to make it part of the competition. So I have the freshman, sophomore, juniors, they have to present their best. So we'll judge that. So I thought that was pretty creative. But as you can see, everything is done. Change board, the kids won't be touching the chains. They got to buy a funnel that throws it in. So we have to do that. Bulletin board, so the kids don't gang up. I'm going to do it in 2 separate nights. We're just going to divvy up the pieces like we always do. What else can I tell you? Also, on the 20th that night, you have a subcommittee meeting. That'll be the French Honor Society and the Spanish Honor Society induction. We'll do that in the lecture hall. We can do that. The numbers, there's only 35. So I will plan out the lecture hall to make sure that they're in the assigned seating. Inductees will only be allowed to bring 2 tickets to the event. And we'll do appetizers and that stuff downstairs in the cafeteria. But we are going ahead with that. I can social distance on that, and do the ceremony in the theater. The outside awnings that we did outside are doing a great job. I wrote for my letter home to the parents. The weather has been very cooperative. We are coming to a close with progress reports. Grades are all been in there on, so the parents can review that. What else can I say? Obviously, the mock schedule was canceled, but we're encouraging our parents to get in touch with their counselors and they'll provide that information for them. This Friday, the SAU is running their entire in-service day, professional development for the entire SAU staff. They're providing a number of activities. We go remote, Jamboards, Google Docs, that whole piece. Every teacher has signed up for at least 3 workshops. Our staff in the afternoon, Mr. Price will give you some more information later on regarding the NEASC. We're blowing that up and putting the finishing touches on that. So our staff will work on that in the afternoon from 1 to 2:30 and put that to rest. October 14th, Mr. Price and the guidance, they'll be running the SATs for all our seniors that day, and also sophomores that they're taking the BSATs, Bob and juniors. Bob has done a remarkable job of getting all the rooms and the proctors assigned for that. That is a big task to take on that piece. I also updated you so you can have president enrollment, which constantly changes. Yeah, don't have the guy's camera up again. They do continue to change. We get occasional kids to drop out for homeschool or remote. And again, Mr. Price can track the students who are signed up for VLAX. And I have a handle on those students that are enrolled in homeschool. Our class sizes continue. We're real good on that piece. So as everyone can see, we're presently at in-person 543. That's a real workable number. Great number. In fact, please keep in mind the seniors, we've allowed them to come and go, which they've worked out well with. They don't have to carry a full load, so that helps. Again, with parking and lunch, again, we don't do the break. So the kids go right from first period to the second period. And if we had any challenges at all, lunch always is a challenge, but with the new furniture that we've got, we've asked the kids to really spread out, which they have, and they've accommodated. So again, I don't want to read to you. You see these numbers, they are workable. Kyla is open pretty much every day, so she's monitoring, she sees the halls and the classrooms and that piece. Todd is constantly looking through the rooms to make sure the desks are placed the way they're supposed to be. I don't think we've had 2 discipline issues that I've had to argue with a student over a mask. They have been remarkable, both the staff and the students, to allow what's going on here and make it work. Our sports programs, you know, are up full running. We had a game the other night, football. We did change homecoming because I needed to give the kids a little more time to put that. It's quite a challenge what they're going to do with all this video. Day and Doug Ross, Lena McLean, it's a big undertaking to take. So it really hopefully it will keep everything the same way, but I will not be able to do the pep rally that I do in the gym and get everyone crazy. You know, you're not going to take them outside either because you don't want that to happen. So that's my report, Madam Chair. If there's any, I didn't say any questions. Bill?
This is the first time I've seen this. Is this a student?
I've been doing that for years. I send it home. I mail it home with a report card. We mail the report card home before time. I do it for progress report, and I do it for the report cards. But this is online, this is on our webpage.
Okay.
But when I mail
First time I've seen a hard copy.
He's sometimes brought it to me.
I do it all, I've been doing it for years.
It's a neat publication.
So we really require something from every department.
Yeah, wow.
I don't require, I kind of encourage.
Yeah, it's great.
So this is easy to get me out when I didn't tell you all the stuff that's going on.
Lisa, if I can just quickly update, we had, most of you, I sent out a video on, was it Friday? Just letting everyone know that we did have 2 positive cases in Waterville Valley, 2 students from the same family. We got that report on September 25th. We have had no further positive cases as of today. They are out in remote for 2 weeks only because of staffing, not because of any COVID spread. So remember, we had talked about, you know, short-term closure, once we figure out contact tracing, clean the building, then get back in. There were a number of faculty, students on the contact tracing list in Waterville, so we did have to shift to remote because they are quarantined for 2 weeks. But there is only 2 cases as of today, and we did have to extend it because of staffing, not because of the COVID spread. So I'd just like to update you on that piece.
Yeah, the final line, piggyback up, Kyle, we're at a 96% attendance rate for students here at the high school. We track that weekly. So 96%, we're holding steady there.
Okay, committee progress reports, teaching and learning committee, Maureen.
Yes, Bruce just basically gave my entire report. Thank you.
Sorry.
So, no, that's good. He talked a little bit about NEASC, October 25th and 26th, and that's all on schedule. SAT updates we talked about, and enrollment, and those are the things we discussed.
Yeah. Okay, great. And Roger for school operations.
Sure, absolutely. We did have a brief conversation about the fiscal report at the end of the year, but our main topic of conversation was the item 7.2, Title IX, policy for sexual harassment. I don't know if you want to merge into that discussion now, or wait until you get to that point.
Well, we need to bring it up to the board. Oh, yeah.
We would ask for approval for.
It's a discussion item, so
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
don't want to overstep.
Coming from
Sounds
committee.
good. Yeah, you want
You can do it right now.
to, well, do you want to make the motion? Do we don't have any questions about it? We talked about it extensively with the committee. Does anyone have any questions for
Is
Kyle?
that coming from committee?
Coming from committee, yes. We're all set? Okay, so coming from committee, we would like to adopt the sexual harassment and grievance policy for SAD 48, policy ACAC. All those in favor of that?
I would like to move that first and then have a second and then vote.
Okay, all right, so let's move it from someone on the committee.
I'll second it.
Then you're gonna,
Now you can go.
Okay, all right.
It's your meeting. I just want to make sure you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Roger.
No problem.
There is no SEC, Madam Chair.
Okay.
They're gonna hold off this year.
All right, discussion items, reopening plan update, Kyla.
So our reopening plan is working out very well, actually. It's seeing some of the similarities between responding to COVID cases too is similar to the high school that we responded to at Waterville, so that's going well. There's only one adjustment that we wanted to talk about that may not be specifically in the plan, but we had talked a little bit about it over the summer, and that we would like to allow a few interns to start here, both in athletic training and
Student teachers.
So we postponed that, we said till mid-October. So right now, it looks like students that would be coming in are getting tested weekly and have been pretty responsible. We've had some interns at other schools too that have worked out pretty well, and they are a help to us. So I'd like to ask the board to allow us to start with some of our interns.
They're coming from Plymouth State.
They're all,
Yes.
all from the state.
Oh,
Yeah.
one year.
And they're up to, I think, 5 or 6 tests at this point. Most of them can produce, so that's pretty good. That's good information.
Has someone from either PSU or here talked to them about responsible behavior and
They
expectations?
felt till they come in.
Yeah.
They said we did.
But also out in the community, that they're not, one of the concerns when we first talked about this was, you know, non-adherence to, you know, any of the protocols, not just here, but nationwide, the gatherings, the parties, and that type of thing. So that's been
We've been very
re-emphasized.
clear with them
Okay.
about that piece.
Yep.
I mean, it's a real risk for us to take them too, so it
Right.
would be a little tighter than usual about what we expect from the students that are here. And it's very, I think, 3 or 4 students.
Yeah, that's it.
Two with John Cooley and 2 interns.
Yeah, one with Danae and one in history.
Where is John Bruley's office? Where would they be interning with him?
They do
Around
that,
the fields.
They're just out in our fields.
in the fields, and sometimes in the training room.
So essentially, there would be 2 students in the main building, I mean, other than
Mhm.
the 2 who are down.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Do you want a motion on that?
Please.
I would move that we authorize the involvement of PSU students, athletic training, and student teachers for the fall semester.
Second by Bernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
I'm going to oppose.
You gonna oppose?
Yeah, I don't like the idea myself.
Okay, opposed and abstaining. Okay.
Thank you.
And then well, we already covered the policies, so
Yeah.
we're all set on that. And remote learning weather days, so snow days.
So I'd like to ask the board to give me the authority to shift some of our weather days into remote learning days, so we don't lose as many school days at the end of the year. The only piece with this call is that if there's a widespread power outage, or if it's a significant storm like a microburst or something like that, it will be a no school, no remote day, because we have many areas that kids can't access their online pieces. It's more for days that are 32 degrees, freezing rain, and we don't know which way it's gonna go, and it's a no, we can't get into the building because the roads are icy and we're in a valley here. It's a remote day, it counts as a school day. So I would like to ask the board to approve that we move to make some of these weather days remote days, so we're not tacking on 10 or 11 days at the end of the school year.
That works.
Questions, Bill?
You say some of the days. Do you have a number in mind? If there are 10 snow days, are you going to use 10 remote learning days? Or would,
You're not gonna know that. It would-
no, but is there a limit as to how many,
Remote days you can use?
yeah, is that,
It's unlimited, we can use as many as we need to, but it's based on the weather. I'm just-
no, I understand that, but then the second question is, logistically, what will that look like? Would it be just like if students were remote learning, the teachers will be teaching their first period class, the second period class, and,
Yeah, so we already have a schedule for remote learning
Okay.
days, and would follow that as if there were
Okay.
COVID cases, it would
Okay.
just
Yep.
mimic the same
Yep.
schedule.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions about snow days?
I just had a quick, and that counts as like a normal school day?
Counts as a normal
day?
school day.
Cool.
Yep.
So could you actually do away with all the snow?
I could, we don't have a catastrophe, but it's 2020, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm ready for anything. It's more if there's a widespread power outage, then I can't have the kids access.
Early June.
And Kylie, you wouldn't break off and say Rumby didn't have power, but all the other towns did, you?
No, I'm gonna stick with keeping the SAU together as much as possible.
Okay, great. So coming from superintendent, a motion to go remote with snow days.
Or weather days if needed.
Or
Yeah.
other days, okay.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Point of order, I will make that motion to move
Yeah,
that.
I don't think she can.
Tim seconded.
Yeah.
Now it's all you.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. And other business?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, all right. And board member concerns, anyone have any?
I just have a question. Regarding our back-to-school policy, if students are out sick because they have a runny nose and need to get tested, or they're out legitimately sick, are we requiring all teachers to allow them to allow the student to Zoom into their class? If the class is here and going on, are we asking the teachers to allow the child to Zoom in?
It's not a requirement, it's up to the teacher if they want to use that option to Zoom in.
And then you're doing it.
Okay, and so I have an issue with that it's not a requirement, because if kids are out because we're requiring them to be out because they can't be here if they have a cough, it seems to me they shouldn't be missing those classes. And if there's a kid who's out for 2 weeks or 5 days or whatever, and there's one teacher who says, well, I don't do that, they're gonna miss 2 weeks of that particular class. So I do have an issue with
I
that.
have assigned a person for if the person is, so that person monitors that student and keeps that student abreast and up to date in all those classes. So I have a particular person that focuses on that. Whether the teacher allows them in, it still is keeping that kid up to date on homework, assignments, what they missed. So we've got that covered. But some teachers do allow the class. I walk in a lot of them and the computer's on and teachers talking to the, other kids.
Okay.
But I have to sign somebody so the kids are not left behind.
So is the student who Zooms in, the only thing that they could see is the instructor?
Yeah, correct, yes.
Yeah, there's an exemption this year that allows us to stream in, not record it.
But there
Usually there's a video policy, audio and video policy of students, but there's an exemption this year to live stream in.
Meaning,
You can live stream in through Zoom to a classroom.
because there was a law that
Yeah.
would not allow you to video or audio tape
Audio.
unless you had
Yeah.
the permission from every parent in that classroom. So you're saying that that's going to be waived?
It's already waived.
But not to record, right?
Not to record,
No, they can't
live
record
stream.
it, they can
It's
only,
just
yeah,
live
so
stream.
there's two different, yes, there's the live stream when they zoom in and they participate in that particular block of time, but they are not allowed to record
They are
it.
not recorded.
That's still illegal.
Mhm.
But can we guarantee that they're not recording it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I have a question. Yes. Similar to Phil's question. The teacher can see the student. Can anybody else see the student? Or is it just one way?
Just the teacher.
Okay.
It's face towards the teacher, not class.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because there are some Zoom or capabilities where you see little pictures of everybody.
No, because all the kids are in class. This is one thing.
Okay. Other questions? And privilege from the floor? Yes?
Zach Terrell, select board. This past year, the town passed by citizen request at town meeting on the warrant, basically an article talking about using pesticides on fields in town. We have since learned that the town technically did not have the legal authority to enforce that in any way. Which is fine. The will of the people, though, seems to be a reduced use of non-organic pesticides on any playing field or public areas in town. As such, our Parks and Rec department has gone ahead and we've eliminated all non-organic pesticides, all of our fields, all the parks for the town are now doing that. I was hoping that maybe the school board or the school administration might consider following suit with that. policies here to try to meet the will of what the citizenry wanted, even if the particular approach they used didn't meet the rule of law.
I can answer. So I've been meeting with Parks and Rec there as well. We are going to bring that up at our next committee meeting with our capital improvement plan, so it's a discussion that the board can have to decide if they want to move in that direction or not.
Great.
So that'll be coming up
Thanks.
later this fall.
And Lisa did a nice job showing up and
Yeah.
talking about our issues as well.
Yeah, we talked today about getting it on the agenda and really looking at it. It was beautiful, yeah, just gonna, this to the town. And then, does anyone have any questions or when does that mean? Or next?
Our your next subcommittee meeting.
And that's, if you all remember, Mark Callen, before he left, we worked on Santa's Village and cleaned out some of the chemicals that we had over there. And, I think Mark kind of initiated with Jim Blake, the park foreman, to start to look at that. John got involved and just tried to see what we could do. And we talked about someone from the company coming in to answer our questions.
Yeah, and John Francis is going to call the company and get some answers.
So Jim Blake was certified to treat, but then we changed over to outsourcing to a company. So that's really what we need to discuss and figure out what to do here on the campus of TES will be them and PRHS will be us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth. Okay, motion to go into non-public. So Maureen second. Peter. All right, so I have Sam.
Yes.
Ronnie.
Yes.